There is a legendary item that you might have missed in the third episode of the Fate of Atlantis DLC that adds a cool twist to a look we already had. So let's take a look at that. I will of course share the location in this video too. And we'll look at the Ostrakas that you can find in Atlantis to get the new damage with enhanced abilities perk. There are 5 in total and I will share all the locations. So let's get into it. Would be awesome if you could leave a like on the video as it shows your support. And let's go. Before we get into it, I want to note that this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, the brand new collection RPG that has almost 10 million players worldwide within 3 months. As you can see, the graphics are really impressive and I really like the strategic gameplay against the huge bosses. There's an awesome storyline to follow and over 400 champions to collect. My favorite and also the best character in my team is Latia because she does a ton of damage with her bow. There's really something for everyone in this game, from collecting powerful loot to thinking of good strategies to take out the different bosses, and that's what I really like the most, making different parties depending on the encounters. Raid is a free-to-play game. There's PvE in the dungeons versus bosses and PvP battles in the arena. I really like both also for the variation, and I'm really not the only one because Raid almost has a perfect score in the Google Play Store with more than 200,000 reviews. They also recently released a new update that added a new daily reward system with very nice prizes for every day that you log in, including epic champions. So totally go follow the link in the description or the pinned comment and start playing the game right now. You will then also get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program. Thanks again to Raid for sponsoring the video, really helps out the channel, and now let's get into it. Thanks to everyone who reached out about this new legendary item. Maybe you got it as well, but you can easily miss it if you don't complete all the locations in Atlantis. The prototype crown. So yes, a prototype of the crown of Persephone. And the core difference is that this one does not have a hood. You of course get the Persephone's helmet at the end of the first episode of the Fate of Atlantis DLC, and that one has a hood, so when wearing it with the full legendary Verse Civilization set, you see the hood. While if you wear Persephone's helmet in combination with the chest from the Fallen set for example, then the hood goes away and you only see the crown. Well, with the prototype crown, you only see the crown no matter what, so also if you wear it in combination with the First Civilization set. So for the first time we can use the crown from Persephone on this set without seeing the hood, so that's a pretty nice addition for sure. I mean, I still prefer the hood for sure, but it's always nice to have more options of course. It's also a pretty strong legendary warrior item actually, that has 40% chance to ignore half the damage on level 99. Pretty nice indeed, and it also reduces all the cooldowns by 10% on a perfect dodge. And that is of course when you dodge at the right moment and then the time slows down as well. So if you trigger the perfect dodges often just like me, then you can totally benefit from this perk. So you can do your cooldown heavy abilities like the Second Wind or the Ares' Last Breath more often, but it's also nice for the Ares Madness or the Blessing of Kronos for example, that you want to have active as much as possible. So yes, I think I will try and make room for this perk for sure, but the interesting part is that you can only engrave it on weapons, including bows. I could not find an engraving option for any of the gear pieces, meaning that you have to sacrifice a weapon perk for this one, and it's kind of hard to justify that in my opinion. Like sure, the cooldown reduction is great, but you will not always do the perfect dodge, while with some of the other perks you can put on weapons, you enhance your damage for example, and these perks will be active all the time. So if you are really keen on using this perk, then it might be smarter to use the helm instead of engraving the perk on any of your weapons. There is another new perk that I want to touch on in this video. We already talked about it briefly in my legendary armor set video, because actually the boots and the hands from the Dicastes legendary armor set also have this perk. And that is the damage with enhanced abilities one, that you can also get as an engraving and then also only engrave on the arms and the boots. So as the perk suggests, it obviously gives you more damage with enhanced abilities like the Ares Madness or the Ares Bull Rush. So it can totally help if you use these abilities a lot. You get a 20% increase with a level 10 perk, so that is a 40% increase in total if you have the perk on both items. And you can also engrave it if you want to get it on other items by first collecting all the 5 Ostrakas in Atlantis and then buying the upgrades at the Hephaestus workshop to get it from 10% to the 20%. Shout out to Gaming with Abyss for finding the locations of the Ostrakas. I put a link to his channel in the description, so totally check that out. So now let's go over all the locations. First we want to start with the Ostraka you can get in the Doma of the Evaimon, and I hope I pronounced it right. You find it over here on the map and the Ostraka is higher up. You can of course scout the area with Icarus to easily find it. And then you get the A House from Cycles Past. To get the solution, we want to go to the garden that is close by over here on the map. Go inside the building and then interact with the sort of bookshelf. And then bam, you have the first one. Now we want to go to this garrison that you find over here on the map. And then the Ostraka is higher up, so climb up. Icarus will help you find it if you have trouble. And after that, you want to go to this location that is in a horizontal line next to it. Over here on the map. For this one you also have to climb up and then you will find it on the rock there. Moving on to the And My Pickaxe one that you find in the Atlantis Latomia. It's also higher up next to one of the torches of Hypnos. So go get it. And then for the solution we actually want to stay on the same sort of island over here on the map, where we actually see a person use a pickaxe next to a small puddle. Interact with the puddle and then you will find the solution. For the next one we want to go to the archive over here on the map, enter the building and actually keep it right, and then you will find the Ostraka in the end laying on the ground. And then for the solution we want to go over here on the map near all the dolphin statues, and then in the water in front of the big statue you will find the solution. For the final Ostraka we need to enter a knowledge sequence 2 building, so you first need to interact with some orange Izu data items to get your knowledge far enough. And then you can enter this Horus repository. So when you go inside you want to fall down and then enter a room via your right hand side, because there on the table you will find the Ostraka. So interact with it and get it. For the solution we want to go to the Tower of Judgment over here on the map and then find the solution, and then bam, you got them all. So that is the 10% engraving. To upgrade it to 20% we need to go to the Myson Cave in Greece over here on the map, and then you can buy the fully upgraded perk. It does cost a ton of drag me, so only really do it when you have plans to make a build focused on the enhanced abilities. Otherwise it might be nice to hold on to your drag me instead. And then I think we covered most of the important things, right, of the Fate of Atlantis episode 3. I actually still got some cool ideas that I want to make videos on in regards to the new weapons and abilities. So totally stay tuned for way more Odyssey videos in regards to that and also the future of the game. As I noted many times before, I interviewed the post-launch content director Bruno and learned a ton of interesting stuff that I want to discuss really soon. So totally subscribe if you haven't already for everything Assassin's Creed and everything Odyssey in general. Like the video to support the channel and check out my recent video on the new armor set or the forge, where you can craft some special weapons. For now though, I will speak to you next time and goodbye.